Viewer discretion is advised.
Us islanders taught that way, which is great because you understand when to be humble. I've been the general for a long time, and I thought it's about time to experiment or do something different. If the audience is bored with you or whatever you're portraying, you have to change it up. This is the one drink that really changed my life. It was a Kava cocktail. When I took the first sip, it blew my mind. It had such an effect that I came back to New Zealand. Straight away, I was planning my next trip back to Hawaii. Man, growing up, alcohol at high school, going to uni, and all the alcohol we drank then, being able to get off alcohol was the first thing that came to my head. Was this would help a lot of the youth in New Zealand. November 15th, I want you to come out there and support our people, because if you don't, forget about it.
Hi everyone, if you are enjoying the content and the guests that are on the podcast and you're wanting more, then please do us a favor. If you can just press the subscribe button, that would be an amazing help for us. But also, just want to mention an amazing organization called AOK, who sponsors the Mandate podcast. And so they are an organization that runs suicide prevention, intervention, and wellbeing programs. And so AOK stands for Acts of Kindness. And so you didn't need me to tell you about the alarmingly high rates of suicide in our nation, especially amongst our rangatahi, our young people, even our tāne, our men. And so if you're wanting to stand in the gap and you want to be well trained and well equipped to have these courageous life supporting conversations, then please check them out, aok.nz. If you're a business, a company, or a collective, or even as an individual, check them out, www.aok.nz. You could very well be that one person to help save a life. Welcome to Mandate, where we navigate fresh perspectives and nothing is off the table. Tonight's guest needs no introduction. This man is an amazing individual. Obviously, people know him far and wide. He comes back and forth from Japan to Aotearoa, New Zealand. You know him obviously in the new Japan Pro Wrestling as well. He's an entrepreneur. Has several aliases, like General Rogue, Bad Luck Fale. He's part of the Bullet Club. The man is just an amazing individual who's done amazing work thus far, not only in worldwide, internationally, nationally, but also in the community as well. Please put your hands together for the one and only Toks Fale! Toko, man, thank you so much. I know obviously it's part two again, Toko, and to have you grace the table and be with us once again, obviously it's an absolute privilege, Toko. And so I know last time we kind of touched on obviously the humble beginnings, obviously your dojo, and also what you were trying to do, your envision in terms of creating other young or inspiring wrestlers to make to nurture them, but also to groom them, and also to get them to overseas as well, to get contracts. But also just want to start the ball rolling. Toko, what's been going on? What's been new on the horizons in 2024, but also 2023? What's been some of the new things and the new challenges thus far, whether it be in the dojo, whether it be other projects? What's been in the works thus far?
Yeah, since the last time I seen you guys, there's been a lot going on, and I see with you guys have really done well for yourselves. Last time I was here, we were at a smaller space, but this place is really blown up, and I'm happy to see that, because I was the same. Last time we met, we were at a spot where we weren't at a position to be able to do what we're both doing right now. But I'm really happy, really followed through with a lot of the things we talked about last time. The goals are still the same. The destinations are still the same. But the journey is at a different place now. So compared to the last time we're at a very good place right now. We're doing tours around Australia and New Zealand. I'm still going back and forth from Japan. And we're doing a lot of work with the youth in some of the schools right now, bringing in wrestling programs and getting opportunities out there to try and help some of the kids see there's an alternative path other than rugby and boxing. The entertainment side of things, wrestling. We have helped a lot of students get to where they needed to be, get contracts overseas, and we're still aiming to get to the islands sometime in the near future to do shows and do the same thing. Recruit, teach them, and then set them on a pathway to become great entertainers like The Rock and Rikishi and King Haku. And right now, especially the Islanders are doing really well overseas in pro wrestling.
Bro, yeah.
They're blowing up. It took us a long time to get there. Of course, back in the 80s, 90s, they did well, but for a long time, 20 plus years, they forgot about the Islanders. But now they're at the forefront, and they're building them into big superstars right now. So this is a great opportunity for us as well to try and find the talent and show them this pathway.
Man, awesome, Toko. Well, because why is that? You're right. Obviously, WWE, that dynasty, that dynasty that is bro, it's just, man, it seems like a lot of, not just any young people, but in kids, even some of the adults are now getting into the WWE and saying, man, you got the Roman Reigns and the Usos, all that kind of stuff. You're doing some cool stuff. Why is it? What do you think that's becoming so appealing, but even more so like, man, our poly people are kind of, obviously they've always been there in the wrestling and the game. And you know, because you've been in it for some time now. And so what is it about our people that's just kind of like, man, is it just the timing, or is it, man, they have the X factor?
It's a mixture, I believe. Our people are strong, but at the same time, our people are patient. So when it's time for us to take action or be the guys that everybody looks to, we become those leaders. But when it's time for us to be quiet and sit back and watch everything else, we can do that. And I think us Islanders taught that way, which is great because you understand when to be humble. Yeah, that's right.
Is it similar to the New Zealand talking?
Yeah, what are your thoughts on that?
Oh, actually, when I first saw that, sorry, excuse me. We used to do a lot of work with Blue Wave before. Maybe a year ago, they would film our wrestling matches and stuff, and we hadn't gotten back together in maybe almost a year. But up until we finished working together, there was nothing but professionalism. And Hana was really professional when we worked together. But when I saw that clip before it went viral, I actually understood what she was saying. A lot of people are saying, there was a better way to deliver it. But I didn't think so, because I saw and I heard what she said, and I had no issue with it. And, and when it blew up, I really didn't understand. But coming from a Korea where there's a lot of haters and a lot of people who complain about everything, I understood exactly what happened. And everybody, it's got to be something everybody else is angry with. There's something else back there. I believe it happens a lot online. There's other factors to why people are mad, why people are angry, and then they go and let it out online. But I just thought she drew the short straw. It was at the right time for everyone to explode, and it was her. So I saw everybody talk about it, which, hey, it's all right to have an opinion. You may not disagree with, you may not agree with her, but hey, everybody has the right to have their own opinions. So I wasn't really, I didn't really care about the outrage because I did understand what she was saying. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah.
It is funny.
What is
Yeah,
the depth of, like, what is the perspective? Because, it's only a little clip and I don't really know the fullness of it, which is why, and I'm not one to go off a snippet. I'm just like, oh yeah, it's just a snippet, cool. But then I saw everyone else jumping up and down, and I was kind of like, was that in there? Was that bit in there? But you're right. People had their own stuff come up and felt the need to defend it or make a stand on it. So when you say you see where she's coming from, what is your perspective on that?
My perspective, when I saw it, and I say I understand because I've been through a lot of that kind of stuff. The privilege, claiming you're something when you're not, just to get ahead. And I don't think it was meant in a disrespectful way. It was, to me, she just pointed it out, and I thought, of course it happens. All this stuff really does happen. And that's why I wasn't outraged, because I understood her.
Yeah. Cool. Oh, awesome. Thank you for that, Toks.
No,
Appreciate that.
it's good.
It is funny. Like,
It's
you
good,
can
Toks.
laugh about it
We
because
can laugh about it.
I laugh because a lot of people didn't understand it. That's why I laugh. I don't laugh because shame on her or shame on people complaining about her. Yeah, I was laughing because a lot of people took it the wrong way. And it happens a lot in the world right now, is they see a little clip that's been shown to them, but they don't know what happened before and what happened after.
Yeah.
And then they get off on it. But all they had to do was wait another day or two, then you'll see the truth come out.
Yeah.
And that happens a lot.
Because you're quite a content creator yourself. Have you had any backlash like that before?
Oh, a lot.
Oh, really?
They've tried to cancel me so many times.
Why? What the heck? Who's going to cancel you?
Wrestling, everything. When you become a public figure or famous, when you become and have a little bit of a name, there's always going to be haters. There's always going to be people who's going to try and cancel you for trying to do what you're doing. Mainly because they can't do it, or there's jealousy, or it's, they can't and they can't do the work to get to where you are.
Wow.
And I've gotten a lot of it throughout the years, and but for me, it's kind of easy because I can always blame it on my character. Because I'm always the bad guy in wrestling. So when people complain, I say, oh, that's the character, that's the bad guy. But I'm actually a nice guy in real life.
It's true. That's true, Toks.
You can take that outfit off, eh?
Yeah, but how do you handle it, Toko? How do you handle the scrutiny and the criticism? Because you are a public figure, and people are like, oh, I know you on the wrestling stage. But how do you personally kind of deal with some of those? It'd be nice to hear from the how-to. How do you...
Yeah. Of course it weighs on you. There's a lot of stuff that does hurt me, mentally and physically, but I can't remember how I came up with it. But I figured out that it's not about me. It's about whoever's doing that comment. And what I do now, when I see a bad comment or somebody talking shit, I comment on the bottom and I always say, are you okay, bro?
Nice.
Oh, man, it changes the way they react. And a lot of times they private message and they say, oh, sorry, bro, I didn't mean to comment like that. I'm just going through all this, and this. And I found that's the best way for myself to counter that anger. When people are angry with me and whatever, I say, are you okay, bro? And then if they come back still angry, I'll always ask, maybe you need to talk? You want to talk? Send me a message, whatever. And it just cuts them off. So, there's a lot of experience and a lot of learning I did for just doing that.
A lot of private messages.
Oh, man.
a lot of addresses. What's your address?
Oh.
Man, that's a smart move. That's a smart move. I like that.
It's weird though. I'll do a lot of positivity stuff. I do a lot of clips of motivational clips and stuff. And then people will still write negative stuff about it. Right? And I don't get it. I didn't get it then. But then I realized if they're seeing me giving positivity out there and it's still hitting them in a negative way, it's not me. Something is wrong with them. So putting it back on them, you ask that question, are you okay? From my experience, it changes everything.
That's cool.
That's cool.
They go from being angry and then they're like, what is he paying attention to me this way? And it just cuts everything.
That's good. It's kind of like you calling them out here.
In a nice way.
In a nice way, in a nice way. And you're right. I think they I don't know, maybe like you said, I don't understand the psyche as to why people kind of comment and they're quite negative or they're quite malicious or kind of really vulgar sometimes, some of these people online. And we've had our fair share, but you're right. I think when you do kind of call them out, like, and then they kind of wonder, maybe I shouldn't, because obviously, look at you, Toks, you are 6'5" or 6. I don't even know how these guys can try to call you out, try to criticize you, and think they have the right to call you out and all that kind of stuff. They must think twice. I'm sure they must think twice once the actual Toks Fale messages them. So and then they become, hey, what is it? What is it, Toks? Say, hey, sorry, Toko. Hey,
I'm going through some stuff.
But that's interesting because I mean that's you calling out. I don't know. I don't want to say it, but it's you calling out their trauma. Eh?
I think it's trauma.
It is, eh? Because I mean, and TikTok's probably do you get more on TikTok than anywhere else?
All of it.
All of it? Gosh. And so anything you put up could trigger anything for anyone. And the smart thing that you do is you don't let their triggers trigger you, is you put a stop to it straight away. And I don't think anybody talks about that as a strategy.
Yes.
And there's a lot of content creators now, and there's a lot of podcasts, and there's a lot of people courageously putting themselves out there. So for you to share that, have you put that in a clip yet?
No, I haven't.
I'm going to sniff it tonight.
Check it out.
That's a great one.
And I hope we don't get cancelled.
Oh, man. But I like your new look. I was looking at your videos and I was like, Toks has gone grey real fast. But then I looked closer and I was like, what a mean look. What's the story behind the new look?
Forget about it.
That's right. In wrestling, if you don't stay active or if the audience is bored with you or whatever you're portraying, you have to change it up. So I thought I've been the general for a long time, and I thought it's about time to experiment or do something different just to entertain myself. And when I entertain myself, then everybody else gets entertained. But yeah, I just thought it was time to come up with a new look, because I've done 2 other characters before, and they were very successful, but at the same time, not so much the people getting bored with it. I started getting bored with it, so I wanted to change it up and have a new look and just go from there.
What was the inspiration?
Sorry?
What was the inspiration?
Just different. I'm really big into...
It's a plane. It's not an earthquake, it's a plane.
I'm really big into shocking the narrative. Like, for example, the beard. Not many islanders will walk around with a blonde beard. Right? So it's a good way to, hey.
And a tattoo on the head.
Exactly, yeah. When I first got the tattoo, not many people, I don't think anybody had a tattoo on their head. Yeah. But now everybody's got, a lot of people have it now. But the reason why I did it was everybody, of course, when I lost my hair, I looked around and everybody who had no hair had a beard. And I thought, how can I look different from the bearded bald guys? Let's go for tattoo. Yeah, and then everybody's got beard. And I thought, what could I do to stand out with everybody with a beard? Let's go blonde, something different. It's just simple ways or little ways of turning heads. You know, if you can't use your voice, do something different. If you can't use your hair, if you got no hair, do something different.
Bro, this is cool, man. And I liked it. I liked it because we were there. We were at the weekend. We went to one of your shows. Bro, when you came, I was like, oh my God, this is different. This is different. The man comes out with all the Italian mafia kind of theme songs. Oh, what's this? And I love the new name, Toks. What's the name now?
It was Don Fale on there. Forget about it.
Yeah, I remember that. Then we came back the drive back home. Forget about it. Forget it.
Don Faleone.
Faleone.
Faleone. That's
Yeah.
me.
So I wanted to entertain myself, so I was coming out there having fun, and then everybody else having fun makes it worth it.
Cool.
Well, you fooled my brother-in-law. He's like, oh, is he Italian?
I think my son was even imitating it. He was like doing this whole thing, and I was like, "What is that?" He's like, "Oh, this Toks doing his character," and I was like, "Oh my goodness, maybe just leave it with Toks."
And I think that's what I admire about you, Toko, because obviously you're a businessman, entrepreneur, and it seems like you're expanding. You're expanding outside of the wrestling space. And so maybe if you can touch on some of the things that you're trying out. Obviously, you're in the schools now, running the programs. So what's the new expansion? And you're doing your doco and all that kind of stuff. What's something that's kind of new that, like, man, no one's heard about this? That maybe you can I don't know, maybe you can share.
The Kava. About a year ago, I went to Hawaii, and for 2 weeks, my nephews would invite me to go to a Kava bar. And I thought, Kava bar, what? You can never get a buzz from Kava. So for 2 weeks, I would convince them to take me to the club or the bar, and I would drink every night. But on the last night, I thought, I'll entertain, the thought, and let's go to the Kava bar. So we went to the Kava bar, and I was shocked because when we got to the bar, it was just full of youth. There were tables, groups of youth just chilling, having Kava, and there was a shock to me because I'm not used to seeing youth just sitting around chilling on a Friday night or Saturday night. And we sat down, we had a bowl of Kava, we were drinking the Kava, but I still thought, alcohol's for me, that's not going to work. And they had a bar, and I went there to order something different that didn't taste like the Kava. And they had a Kava, it was different. So I ordered that. It was a Kava cocktail. So when I had that, it changed my life. So this is the one drink that really changed my life. It was a Kava cocktail. And when I took the first sip, it blew my mind. It had such an effect that I came back to New Zealand, and straight away I was planning my next trip back to Hawaii. So when I went back to Hawaii the next time, a couple of months later, I went specifically to this Kava bar and just studied what's going on. And for 2 weeks I was there. I was at the Kava bar every night. And I never went to the bar, to the clubs. I went to this Kava bar. And that's when I realized this is actually taking me off the alcohol. And it wasn't giving me a hangover the next day. I'm not wanting to drink this all the time. But it changed my life. So I came back to New Zealand after that second trip, and I told myself, yep, this is probably your next journey. Wrestling is your career now, but I think this is something that's worth spending your life on, I thought, because it changed my life by helping me get off the alcohol. The alcohol I thought was what's going to kill me. I didn't ever think I'd live past this age. I'm in my 40s now. And I thought I'd never get to 50 because the way I drink, I'm probably going to die in my 43, 44. But in the last year, my body has changed because of this product. So right now I'm really working on the Kava. So coming back from Hawaii, I opened up a Kava bar down in Huntley, and that's been going really good. A lot of young people coming in and trying it, and I think it's the next big hype, or the next big thing that it's going to help a lot of our people get healthy.
I think you're on the money there. I think on the why Huntley?
My family, a lot of my siblings and my parents live in Huntley.
Oh,
So
okay.
I thought, why not try it first, see if it works. And if it does work, then I can bring it to Auckland. Not that Auckland doesn't have any cover bars. There's a few cover bars around South Auckland, mostly owned by the Fijians.
Okay.
But they do it in a different way. I know there's a bar in town called Four Shells, and the owner there, she's doing really well. But I have my own view on how to market it, and because it's helped me get off the alcohol, I want to share it with everybody else.
Yeah. I didn't realise you were a heavy drinker.
Yeah, because I don't think you mentioned that obviously in the first time you came out.
That's because I didn't think I was an alcoholic until I got off it. Yeah.
What was why were you drinking every night?
The Korea, so we tour all the time.
Yeah.
And every night is a different city. Every night, your obligations to hang out with the sponsors and go out with the fans, because it ensures them coming back for the next time we're back in town. So you have to go out and eat and drink with them. And if you don't, you possibly just lost a bunch of people coming to the show. So for 14 years, that's what I did every single night. Even when I came back here, I'd still be drinking. I'd buy duty free. If I'm here for a week, those free bottles will be finished before I leave. And then every single night on tour, everybody's drinking. It's part of the culture, part of the career. But I didn't know I was alcoholic until I started drinking Kava.
Wow. Well, good on you. Good on you, Toks. I think it's a really great story to tell. And, because some people go to all sorts of different kinds of help for that. But the fact that you found your own replacement for that, I think is, we need to acknowledge that. So I think it's such a great journey. And so now we sit with a Kava drink in front of us. So I'm going to grab the other one.
And so what's the name? What's the brand name, Toks?
So my brand is Fale Kava.
Yeah, Fale Kava.
And Fale Kava, it's for a relaxing time. So if you want to relax.
Man, well done, Dogo. And I might have just add as well, Toks. You're looking good, brother. You're looking good.
You look very well.
Yeah, you've been. Was it maybe you can elaborate on some of the things you've been doing, some of the training you've been training.
Oh
man, thank you. Mahalo.
I've never had Kava. Looking forward to my first one.
And I thank you for bringing that up, because part of the reasons why my body has changed is because I've slowed down on the alcohol. Wow. And cheers.
Hey, cheers. Yep.
Yeah, cheers from over here. Cool.
Yep.
Just sip away at it, yeah.
Can you use this? Oh gosh, that's yum. Can you use this to replace coffee?
Oh yeah.
Because I need a replacement for coffee. I'm such a coffee addict.
You can, because you can. In America, a lot of when it's winter time, they'll heat the water up, for the cover sessions.
Oh really?
Yeah, so you can drink it with hot water.
Oh man, Dogo. Oh man, man, there's some good stuff, man. There's some good Kava.
Because one thing we don't do very well as Pasifika is we don't talk about our own products.
Yes.
We don't,
Yes.
And I was a bit shocked to go on YouTube. So kind of, I don't know why, but I just thought I'm just gonna go see, because I know you've got this wonderful product that's traditional, and so I was like, I wanted to go find out, like, how common is this? What is the cover? What is the plant? I really wanted to find out the intricacies of it. And I was absolutely blown away, Docs, when I saw all these non-Pasifika people selling this product in different formats, and they've commercialized it to a level where at a worldwide market rate, what is it? Yeah, at a world rate market price or market share that they actually have accounted for, they're sitting at almost $2 billion. Like, that's how much money they're making from the cover itself, and they're predicting that by 2032 it's going to be 4 billion, and it's like increasing it's compounding at 15% every year. So I'm thinking, here we are drinking it in the church, just relaxing with it.
I don't know if we're drinking in the church.
Oh, I've seen people drink
Yeah,
them.
you're right. After the service.
Well, anyway, but the thing is, we don't. I think we actually need to understand, like, the health benefits of this drink, because if you're saying, because you look really good from the last time I saw you. You look really healthy. Your skin looks amazing. How old are you?
So. I'm 42.
Oh, you got baby skin for a 42-year-old.
It's the Italian blood. The Italian blood.
Forget about it.
But if this is coming from the cover, like, let's talk about the health benefits, because this is a natural product, isn't it?
Yes,
it comes from the root. This is from the root of the is it the Kava plant or the Kava plant?
Yeah, the Kava plant. Man, there's a lot of things that we're being misled on or misinformed. If you do go on Google and look at Kava, the first couple of searches you'll see is Kava's bad for you. It's bad for your liver. Okay.
Wow.
And you'd think to yourself, okay, so is it better than alcohol or is it not? Because alcohol is really bad for your liver. But they don't, if you search up alcohol, it doesn't tell you that. But I think I read some more about it, and there was like an article back in the 60s or 70s. They said they generalized Kava was bad for you, but there's no real study about it. But when I saw that, and I thought, they haven't studied our Tongans and Fijians drinking this, because a lot of them have drank this product for years.
For generations,
and nothing's wrong with them. You never hear anybody having liver cancer or dying from Kava. So nobody's really put or done any proper
research
on it, or even studied the Kava drinkers, because the Tongans drink pretty much 2-3 nights a week.
Yeah.
And then for years, when they grow up until their late ages, they're still drinking it. And you don't hear much
health problems around it.
About it. So I think it's not being looked at it properly. And I don't blame the non-Polynesians abroad selling it or making money of it, because they don't know about the cultural side of it. All they know is there's a plant that can help us. Let's make some money out of it.
Yeah, it's benefit.
Which comes back to our cultural side of it. To me, it's important to know the cultural side of it, the ceremony side of it. But at the same time, we cannot just keep it to that, because if we don't, like you said, the non-Polynesians will make all the money, and we're stuck still doing the cultural side of things.
Yeah, just doing the ceremonies. Yeah, you're
we're
right.
stuck being humble.
It's time to stop being humble. You're right. Absolutely right.
My tongue's gone numb.
It's working.
Yeah.
you know.
Is yours? Yeah. No, not yet. Yeah.
So what is it? Why does your tongue go numb?
It's when people ask me, I always say it's a muscle relaxant.
Oh.
So of course your tongue is the first thing that touches it.
Right.
So your tongue is going to start getting relaxed, and then you're going to start feeling it throughout your body. It's gradually.
Yeah. They were also saying, because there is some research done on the kava. This is why the non-Polynesian people are selling it, because they've done research on the kava plant and the kava itself. But it must be research that's obviously not, not
Out
being
there.
promoted
Yes,
as a lot of these innovators and entrepreneurs do. They find this research and then they're like, cool, let's capitalize on it. And they have. They go to our islands, they export this plant, and then they've got so many different formats of it. But one of the things that it also does, they said that it has similar effects to opioid. But it's an opioid. It breaks the opioid impacts, so it actually counteracts it. And so, with information like that,
that's
how are we
misinformation.
who are in the land? How are we not? How is this information? How are we not taking hold of this information and using it to, I guess, not commercialize, but make this a product that we sell worldwide from our own islands instead of people taking it off our lands.
In Hawaii, they are doing it because they're allowed to. I think New Zealand and Australia were not being allowed to do it is the reason, which is, to me, is not beneficial for us. It's a cultural thing, but at the same time, it's better option or a better alternative to alcohol. So there's a lot of restrictions with Kava in New Zealand and Australia compared to the other countries where they don't have any. But I think, to me, my view is there's a lot of profit being made from alcohol. And to have a alternative that'll turn our people away from the alcohol is not a good thing.
Yeah.
So, imagine if all our people started just drinking Kava because it's what our people drink and not spend money on alcohol.
Yeah.
How much money is the government going to lose?
Oh, those businesses, there's
Businesses,
corporate, there's
bars,
corporate,
liquor stores and restaurants. So I think that's one of the big reasons our people can't capitalize on it.
Yeah.
Because imagine all the work our farmers and people who work with Kava could make. Imagine that.
It's a little bit hypocritical of New Zealand, to be honest, because, New Zealand's one of there's only like 2 countries in the world that can promote like pharmaceuticals, like advertise it, and they go ahead and do that, and then they put all of this legislation around natural products.
You just mentioned that now. There's another, there you go, the pharmaceutical big pharma.
Yeah.
There's a lot of money being made with drugs,
And this
these are natural. This is natural herbal.
Comes out of nowhere. There's a lot of money to be lost. So,
and this is competitive for them, eh? This will take away all of their profits.
Yeah, it's true. So there's, it's very difficult. So this is something I need to try and figure out on my own for now, but I would love for more people to understand.
Yeah.
Not just our Polynesian people, but everybody else who, who thought about drinking Kava or having troubles with, relaxing and sleeping. This is probably the best product for them.
Well,
awesome.
There's a big guy called Tim Ferriss. He's like the guy who owns the 4-Hour Workweek book, and he also wrote another book around the body. But he's like a human experiment, and he came across the product Kava, and straight away he's like, what is this product? How have I not known about this product? And he started asking some of these academics and nutritionalists and all of those experts. And he was like, "What are the benefits?" And he was a bit taken aback by the fact that he hadn't come across this product, but he was absolutely impressed by it. And so when you look at these kind of figures around, the global market value of this and how much it's already been consumed, as Pasifika people, if they're coming in to, extract your land or extract your plants, like even that, you actually need a safeguard what is traditionally, that particular country's, and actually charge what's rightfully the value. But I wonder as well whether, because Australia and New Zealand, who both have Indigenous people, I wonder if they're also, do you think that maybe some of that legislation or law or policy is also about protecting the land so that we're not like commercializing it too much maybe?
That may be a factor. Of course, we got to consider that.
The environmental stuff, eh?
Yes. Also, there are people who would abuse this. Our people drink a lot of this. Sometimes we think they're drinking too much of it, but I haven't seen anything too serious about it. I think Australia had a thing back in the 2000s where a kilo of Kava in North Australia was $1,000, and the usual cost for a kilo of Kava is around about $100 here in New Zealand, in Australia at the moment. But up in the northern Australia back in the 2000s, it was $1,000 for a kilo. So some importers were making a lot of money back then.
Wow.
And I think that's why Australia banned it. It's banned in North Australia. It's banned. You can't drink Kava or bring Kava in there. You can still bring Kava into Australia, but at a limited form. What had happened was the Aboriginals were chewing it like tobacco. So they would take the Kava and put
the roots, the plant,
and put it here and
numb there.
Yeah, you know how there's tobacco you can put on your and just
chew it,
absorb it through your mouth.
Oh wow!
Yeah,
wow.
The locals were buying the Kava and putting it here, and it's just very strong. It's very strong.
Is it just to numb that part of their mouth if they had a
everything.
toothache? Yeah. But it does have a numbing quality. God,
it is.
really like this.
For us to get the effects, we drink it with water, right? We drink it with water, but putting it straight into your bloodstream the way the locals were doing it, I think the Australian government saw it was a problem. And that's why the price went up that big, because it was so popular with the Aboriginal people that the prices went from $100 to $1,000 a kilo. And that's why they banned it up there. So
the demand went high. It was pretty,
Demand was high, but at the same time, like we're talking about the environment and the culture, some people would abuse it.
Yeah, okay.
But I do think abusing Kava compared to abusing alcohol is a very big difference.
It's a major big difference there.
Yeah.
Oh man, but I think you're definitely onto something here also in terms of the Kava, man. And so obviously you said it's a bit difficult, but man, it can't be that difficult if people are making $2 billion already. $2 billion, and then in the next worldwide $2 billion. And so you're definitely onto something, Toks.
And your biggest customer, your biggest consumers are in Europe. So,
And
you know,
I'm
off to Europe.
in the Middle East.
New Zealand's too small. New Zealand's too small for everything.
Oh man, that's awesome.
Yeah, the first thing, it wasn't profit for me. The first thing that popped to my mind was being able to get off alcohol. Was the first thing that came to my head was this would help a lot of the youth in New Zealand. Because coming from this culture, man, growing up, I know you guys would have gone through it, the alcohol at high school, going to uni, and all the alcohol we drank then, and then even moving out of New Zealand and living in Japan and wrestling, the alcohol was just crazy. So the first thing that really got me into this product was, how can this help our people? And the profit side of things came later, but because it changed my life, I wanted to share it.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Especially in the alcohol and back in the high school, eh?
Oh man.
Was it high school again?
Yeah.
What's that school that you...
Oh my gosh.
Oh man, fight the good fight.
I'm really excited for you. I really hope this goes well for you.
Thank you.
And it's lovely to have our own holding this as a commercial product. Hopefully you all take it as far as you can.
I hope so.
Yeah. But I think people understand. There's a lot more people who understand the benefits of it from a health context. And you can see this through the sales and the consumption that it's quite high already. But I just think our own need to be also leading it. So good on you, Toks.
Yeah.
Try.
So where can they just reach out to you?
Yes, we have a page on Facebook and Instagram. It's Fale Kava or Fale.Kava on Instagram, Fale Kava on Facebook. So if you want to try it or you want to order, just message through and somebody will look after you.
And where's your Kava bar?
The Kava bar is in Huntley, 62 Main Street, Huntley. Right now we're in a little bit of break because I'm so busy, but we'll be opening up again next month.
Cool. Awesome.
Cool.
And that's where you can really get an experience, eh?
Yes.
Yes. I'm excited.
Yeah, that's exciting. And Caroline mentioned something. We want someone who's obviously of Pacifica leading this, and it seems like he could very well be that person, Dogo. And in terms of leadership, because I do want to reflect on your leadership in terms of obviously you're one of the founders of the Bullet Club, and also one of the leaders in New Japan. The wrestling. But how has your leadership evolved throughout the years? In terms of not just in the ring, but also outside the ring, and some of the challenges you've had. Because you know, without a shadow of a doubt, you are a leader. And obviously in New Zealand, you got your own dojo, you're getting some guys, you're training them, you're mentoring them, even some of these kids. And so how has your leadership evolved throughout the years?
Man, you can never stay the same person with anything that you do. Everything different that you do, you have to become a different type of leader. I remember getting into TikTok back in 2020 when during the lockdowns, and I challenged my students. I said, there's this new thing called TikTok. I know everybody's making fun of it, but it's a good challenge for us. So let's all sign up and let's have a challenge. See who can get the most followers in the next couple of months. Everybody dropped out, and I was the only one having too much fun. In order to show them that being an entertainer, you have to follow through with a lot of things. And as a leader, also, you got to lead by showing instead of just talking. Walk the walk. If you're going to talk the talk, you got to walk the walk. So that's how my TikTok blew up, because I just kept doing it. And a lot of the students dropped out, but then some of them came back on because I saw the following I was starting to get, because I just kept going forward and forward. And as somebody older on TikTok, back then it was people were laughing at it, and throughout the years, amounting such a big following has helped me a lot in business also, because you can use those numbers to acquire sponsorship and all that kind of stuff for your work. And now there's a lot of influencers that I'm working with right now, and they're younger, but they're still reaching out to work with me. You guys had an Ed Rivera,
and Jackie Asia.
Yeah, those guys, yes. And they're doing really well with social media, but at the same time, as an older guy, it's good to be reached out to, and for collaborations. At the same time, I reach out to them, and shout out to those guys, and H Puppy. Of course, Uzgang is doing really amazing, but the leadership that you have to become, it's not easy. At the same time, you hope you're doing the right things, and the following that you get, hopefully, is people who are wanting to follow what you're doing. So you got to be really careful of the type of content you put out there at the same time. And yeah, with wrestling, it's the same thing. You got to lead by showing how it's done, and then the people will follow.
That's cool.
That's
cool.
Yeah. And I really think you guys have done really well, because the Mandate brand is out there and everybody knows about it. Because some places I go to, I hear you guys brand out there and people are talking about it. Even though I'm not in that conversation, I can still hear people, oh, they're talking about Mandate. And, that's, you guys are leading in the podcast side of things here in New Zealand. And I think the world is waiting for you guys.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
So
Well,
I appreciate it. I appreciate it for letting me come back.
no.
It's a privilege having you. Man, you're I love that you said that you're in a different part of your journey, and I think it's important for all of us to hear, like, what is it like on this part of the journey, because it's different from
Yes.
2 years ago.
2 years. Yeah.
No way.
Yeah, it's
Okay.
2 years.
So 2 years ago you were here, and where are you now? And look at what you're doing at the moment. Your wrestling shows are starting to really boom, and it's a thing now.
Yeah.
Like, people just can't. I mean, just when you
I'm
come
excited because we both are on this journey, and I remember 2 years ago we were at a certain level, but walking in here and just seeing everything around and the progress you guys have come to, and it makes me happy because I know where we were back 2 years ago and where we are now is amazing. So it goes around,
Yeah, no, that's cool. Appreciate that.
Yeah, man, it is, and I can imagine sometimes, Toks, obviously you're the leader, you're the face of your own dojo, entrepreneur, businessman, and obviously motivational speaker as well. But in terms of the leadership and the mentoring, have there been times, because sometimes leadership can be quite lonely, eh? Yeah, it can be. Like, you can, even if you have people in your midst and you're around everyone and you're surrounded by a lot of people, but it can still be quite lonely. Have there been times when you just feel like, man, I'm just by myself sometimes?
Oh, it's very hard. Very, very hard. Because sometimes where you are mentally, everybody else around you can't understand, or they can't see what you see. So it does get very lonely a lot of times. But I've found and I've learned that the best way to not be lonely is to help everybody get to where you are. So if you have a bunch of guys or team members around you and you feel alone, that's because you haven't brought them to where you are. So you got to build them up to get to the level of mentality and physically, and then you won't be alone. But you're right. Sometimes when you're leading, it's not easy because you are alone. And hopefully you'll pick out the right people around you, or find the right people to surround you with and help them get to that level.
Because you came in with a group last time,
Yes.
and then you've come in with a group this time, Tyler this time. And so straight away, when I see that, I see you're the type of leader that likes to grow other people. And so I think that's cool when you're able to bring them. And we've got to meet him tonight. Lovely dude who loves the Kava.
He's a superstar. He's a superstar.
Who
Tyler,
loves
hey,
Kava.
don't forget that name, Tyler, man. Yeah. What's that thing?
But that's really important. And you look like a really good networker. Because one thing I just wanted to say, because you said older, and I think we are older, but. And I'm not trying to be in a place of denial right now, but but when you hang out with those guys, you don't actually feel old.
No, you don't.
I think it's just the perception. But in the work that we do, like, everyone's trying to figure this out, and this is when it's not about age; it's about experience.
Yes.
And those young guys have great levels of experience and knowledge about social media and their craft. That when they come in and we have these conversations, I honestly feel like they're older. Do you know what I mean? So that's the beauty of working with people. You're not
Yes.
basing the relationship on age, but experience.
Experience, yes. That's a great point.
Courage, yeah.
Great point. Oh.
So, yeah, the fact that you hang out with those guys, it's not because we're not old, man.
We're not.
Why are you laughing?
I'm still for young. Oh. But in terms of, obviously, you're proud Tonga, Kingdom of Tonga. And obviously, you got Mate Mā Tongas, we just rugby league and all that, and also your cultural connection. So how are our people, obviously nowadays, whether it be Tonga, Samoa, wherever or Niue, Tukarau, whoever, Fiji, how are people viewing the dojo and also the work that you're doing right now? What's the word out there? Are you getting a lot of love from our people saying, man, the wrestling is really something that's a new space? Like you said, you don't have to focus on rugby specifically or boxing or other sports, but wrestling seems to have taken off. And I think it's fair to say, Toko, it's good very well because of you.
Thank you for that. But, I set out to start this dojo to help or find talent to take to Japan. But throughout the years, the dojo has become more of a community gym now, because I'm not sure why, but the work that we do, the type of trainings we do, speaks a lot, and especially the social media stuff that I do has spoken to a lot of the public, which they think the type of stuff I do would help them in their journeys. And we've become a community gym, and I'm actually happy about it. Of course, it's a struggle sometimes to keep the gym running, but I wouldn't have it any other way, because making money, and I have had offers from other places to go, but I have refused, because money doesn't make you happy. Money helps you survive, but I judge my life with how happy I am. If I were to leave what I'm doing now and go to another place which would pay me a lot more money, and I know I won't be happy, I won't do it. So, but if I do something and it's a struggle, but at the same time, I'd rather struggle and be happy, that's exactly what I would do. And I think helping other people is more fulfilling, because I've seen the money, I've seen the fame, I've traveled the world, but watching and helping people through their struggles is more fulfilling for me than anything else. So it's great, especially because we're islanders. We all have big hearts, and it's evident everywhere I've been in the world. The friendships I've built and the connections I've made, and it's always people talk about how loving our culture is, or the way us Polynesians are to other people, and I love that about us.
Yeah, it's cool, man. Cool. And obviously now, because we touched on the leadership, and obviously your passion, fulfilling to help other people, and so you're mentoring now. You're obviously not just leading these young men, but or people who are part of the dojo. You're mentoring a lot of them, but also you're mentoring in the schools. How does that all kind of work together within all the mix, in the midst of everything that you do? What are some of the specific ways do you mentor some of these individuals? Because they all come from different personalities, sometimes different attributes, and also temperaments. What does Toks Fale do to make sure or ensure that when you're mentoring them, that you get the best out of them, but also they're getting the best out of you?
Throughout the years, I've had to readjust a lot of the things I do with mentoring, because you're not talking to the same person all the time. It's not a blanket, what do you call it? It's not a blanket statement. So whoever you're mentoring, you gotta, and I said to a lot of my staff, what we do is we're not trainers, we're actually counsellors, because a lot of our students and a lot of our members come with baggage. So in order for them to see where their bodies can get to, or where their fitness level can get to, they have to face what they're going through up here and here first before that change can happen. So when I go and talk to schools, sometimes they tell me talk to the whole assembly. And I don't mind that. Sometimes I do talk to the whole assembly, but sometimes I would tell the school, who are your baddest and most worst troublemakers? Put me in a room with those guys. And throughout the experience I've had, I've been in the rooms and the teachers would come in and I'd say, can we just have the room? Please go outside. And when the teachers leave, I speak to them how they would speak to each other and how I would speak to my friends. Of course, I'll be swearing at them. I'll tell them to shut the fuck up, And to them, they'll be like, oh man, what the hell is, you're supposed to be a role model.
It's always like, oh yeah.
But that's what they want. They want people, role models that understand the way they talk, they understand the way they feel, and not always. I don't always swear at them. I have to have a way of trying to bring it out of them. How do you want me to talk to you, type of thing, and then basically I can judge after a couple of minutes. Oh, okay, this is how I need to react to these guys or girls, and talking directly to, instead of beating around the bush, is probably the best way, I think. And my students, they understand. We did a series, a Toki series of the 3 months course that we usually do, and it's very different. You'll find it on YouTube, Lions Roar. You'll find that there's 12 episodes, Toki series on there, Lions Roar. But when my family and my nieces and nephews saw it for the first time, a lot of them were telling my parents, oh, we never knew our uncle was like that.
Have they not seen that side of you?
They had never seen that side because, I'm nice. But when it's time to talk, to get through to somebody, you have to be a different person. And especially in our business, you have to be really tough on these guys. And I don't hold back. So if you do get a chance to watch that series, you'll see a different guy.
Is that a character?
No,
I was kidding.
No. I've seen some of it. When you're training them, man, you just, no.
The characters in the ring, you can still I have fun with that. But when it comes to real life, it's my guys understand when I'm not playing around. But I feel like that's how us islanders are anyways. When it's time to discipline, that look that your dad gives you. That look, oh, better not do that. Or your mom, that look tells you, but don't mess around. Yeah. So, and a lot of the youth need that sometimes because a lot of it's missing at home. At the same time, some of our laws handicapping, if that's the word. Handicapping, is that a word?
Yeah. I mean, actually, is it?
What's the word?
A PC word, It's like a stumbling block. It's disabling.
Disabled, yeah. Yeah, so a lot of the laws out there disables people from disciplining their kids. And there's a lot of ways that we all know helps discipline kids, but the Palangi law doesn't allow us to do it. So, and we know it works.
Yeah. Because what is the biggest need? Because you're right. The way you engage with them, I hear you're saying that it meets a need and they need it. What is it that they need? Because I think this is what is not clear for everyone, because like you were saying about the haters on the online, they get triggered, their traumas come up, and this is what's talking is the trauma, not the person. And so when we're engaging with our young people who are struggling with society and home and just the basics of life, when their behaviors are like a certain way, the adults around them are not talking to them like adults. They're reacting. They're reacting, and so because of that, nothing gets done. But what is the need for our young people who are struggling?
I believe it's the discipline. Being a wrestler myself, in Japan, you have to learn how to be a fighter before you become a wrestler. So when I teach my guys, I do the same thing. I teach them how to become fighters first, and I get in there, actually mix around and do the fighting with them. So they know that if they mess up, I can show them the right way to do it. But that's what's missing, and I think when kids these days act up, they know they can get away with it because the parents are not allowed to touch them like they do back in the days. So that's missing, the discipline side of things. And a lot of kids don't see that. Naturally Polynesians can fight. It doesn't matter if you've never done a boxing class or whatever. A Polynesian would turn savage on anybody at any time. Doesn't matter if you're a woman or a man, you will get a savage beating your ass. But it's sad because I think the laws have limited and disabled a lot of the ways our islanders discipline their children. And I think there's still a lot of people who do it privately and it works, but then there's a lot where their culture has gone missing. And it's sad, even in Tonga, the kids are still fighting with their parents, and I've never seen that before, but recently there's a lot of that. Not listening to the parents, beating up their moms. It's the culture, the drugs, a lot of the things now, to my belief, all happens because that discipline side of things is missing. When I was growing up, if my dad didn't discipline me, my older brothers will. The right way.
So you were already a wrestler before? You were already wrestling before? But it's true. I like good point out, Togo, because you're right. Obviously rules and regulations and laws have been passed through, and obviously you can't. We don't want to abuse our kids and beat our kids up and all that kind of stuff. But I think the sense of discipline is kind of we've kind of lost that the art or the skill to discipline our kids. Particularly, obviously, with islanders in Pacifica, sometimes it can be quite corporate punishment, physical. But you're right, like you said, they've disabled some of the parents, but also enabled some of these behaviours. So there's a lot of rights. A lot of our young people, I want to write this, but there's not enough. There's the responsibility part's lacking. It's not even there. But good point, man.
To clarify, I'm not advocating violence.
No, you're right.
I don't want people to
Yeah.
misunderstand that. Of course, there are tougher ways to show tough love without using that type of discipline, but a lot of that is missing.
Yeah.
How do we bring that back?
Because the essence of discipline is to let our children know, like, what is right, and what is not right.
Yes.
And then it's also about giving them some expectation. It's about establishing values. Like there's a lot in discipline,
Yes.
and it's not just. And I absolutely hear you. It's not about, the unlawful ways of doing it, but even in the ways we've been disciplined, the messages have always been, hey, this is what's right. This is how you do this. This is who we are as a family. When you act this way, you're not representing our values.
Yes.
You're not representing our culture. And when you walk out of these doors, you are a product of us.
Yes.
And so if you start playing up, and it's not even, if you start playing up, well, we're going to remind you who you are, because in the world today, there's just too much information. There's way too much information, and people are just getting lost in it. And I can see it. Even kids who come from good homes, we are up against that now. We are up against that, and if we don't pull the reins in, and if we're not constantly talking and giving them the responsibility to, to step up, we potentially lose them.
Yes.
So you're absolutely right when you say discipline, but I think today, you're right, tough love, but we also have to be repetitive. Yes. We have to be on repeat. Every day I tell my son, do your bed, do your bed, do your bed, do your bed. Every single day. And I remember one time I was so tempted to do it the old school way. I was so tempted. Yeah. No, I just did. I did do it the old school way. And then
Kava.
Drink more Kava.
I did it the old school way, and it broke my heart that I did. That I failed, but. I had to remind myself, actually, you have to be a broken record in this kid's life. You got to tell him every single day, you got to do your bed, you got to do your bed, you got to do your bed, you got to do your bed. I'm getting sick of it, but I know I'm going to trust in the process. I'm just going to trust in the process and just trust that he hears it enough, that it sits in his subconscious at some stage. But he's only 14. He's only got one scar, but he's all good. I was kidding. I should be a wrestler.
Yeah, I going back to getting the tough kids and the bad kids into one room. It goes back to what you're just saying, the repetitiveness. And we all remember being at school, getting told by the teacher, do this, do this, do this. It gets old. And when it gets old, it just passes you. So you don't listen. You don't give fuck. Yeah. But that was my whole reasoning was, put me in a room with these people, with these kids, no teachers, no principal, and let me talk to them in a different way. What I said earlier, that's probably a better way of saying it. Talk to them in a different way, because the repetitiveness, I know a lot of teachers want to say some things, but of course their job limits them from what they can say. Mm-hmm. So my whole idea was to separate them from being in front of a teacher, and I can talk to them the way they need to be talked to.
Yeah.
And if it involves swearing and a little sternness in the way I say it, then maybe that's the way. And man, the experiences I've had doing that kind of stuff is seeing all these tough guys go from this to, oh, so how did you do that? Like the whole demeanor of being a tough guy and bad. They start asking questions they can't ask their teachers. Mm-hmm. And that's important. You're right.
Yeah. No,
repetitiveness.
Yeah. I like what you said, though. You're right. I think at some point, if it doesn't work, then I need to bring in an uncle.
Somebody else.
Or bring in Toks Fale.
Right, Toks, man.
Lock him in the room with you.
I might have to give you a call and you can see him tomorrow.
You need to bring the Don. The Don needs to come.
Don Fale.
No, but that's a strategy. That's a strategy for us. And we can do that when you have collective families. But I think if you can see one of your friends or one of your family struggling with theirs, we need to come around and back them up. Yes. We need to come around and back them up, because we all do it for the love of the children. We want them to grow.
That used to be, I'm not sure about the Samoan culture, but in the Tongan culture, everybody was allowed to discipline your kid. Back when I was growing up, it was my uncles, my aunties would discipline us. If my parents couldn't do it or weren't there, everybody else was allowed to do it. Mm. Whereas these days, and I see it in my own family too sometimes, is if somebody else disciplines somebody's kid, those parents say, hey, you can't do that. You shouldn't do that to my kids or whatever. Which it kind of, the culture of the family culture in a way has kind of disappeared.
The
collectiveness, yeah. Because I remember nobody would complain if an uncle or auntie would discipline their kids. Whereas these days, don't hit my kid.
Oh, yeah, no, you're right, Doko.
And that's why your kid's giving you a hiding.
Exactly. Yeah.
You're right. You're absolutely right. In the Samoan culture, it's the same thing.
Yeah.
Your auntie and uncle, they'll call you. Oh, you're gonna get it. You're gonna get you're gonna get the hardware, or you're gonna get you know what I mean. As it's the same thing. And you're right. And nowadays, it's I see it's kind of changed. If you say, oh, you can't talk to my daughter like that, you can't touch them. So it's quite different now because of obviously a lot of, like you said before, a lot of the laws,
Cultures
changed. Yeah. But yeah, I like what you say. We're not condoning.
No.
Yeah,
We're going to bring old school back in many forms, like the whole collectiveness, the
discipline. The fighting game is blowing up right now. The fighting, the wrestling, and I think that's so good. The grappling, the boxing, the kickboxing. In order to do any of those sports, you have to be disciplined. So a lot of kids who are getting into it, they learn how to discipline before they even get in the ring and stuff. So that's great to me. That's helping a lot. You know, there's a lot of, if we can figure out how to bring kids more into that discipline side of things, not by being spanked at home, but being taught in a sport the right way to do things. And that's something I think would help a lot.
Yeah. And I think your voice would be one of those voices that might really ingrain some of that.
Don's voice.
Forget about it.
But just close the doors, block your ears, walk out, and just leave him
Get
with
out
them.
of here. I got this, guys.
But you talk about talent. What is the talent you're looking for? What is talent for this kind of career?
Oh, man.
Because you're saying you're looking for that talent. Because we have so much talented bus speaker people. So I'm like, maybe you'll say something tonight that resonates with them so that they can go, oh, that's me.
The thing is with our culture is we are all entertainers. And it's hard for me to understand why when we do Polyfest and do dances and stuff, we are so open to it. Everybody dances and make funny faces or whatever. It's normal to us. But when I come in and say, you can be a wrestler, no, I can't do that. I'm not an entertainer. And I'm thinking, this is our culture. We're natural entertainers. But then when you say something like wrestling, it's they get shut off from it. And I don't really understand why, because look at the Islanders in wrestling now, some of the biggest names in the world. But for some reason, there's a closed door to it within our culture, and I'm not sure why.
Because, I mean, we've had, before The Rock, before every Samoan that's gone into that sphere their names still resonate today. Like, it shows the impact of a Samoan or a Tongan or a Pasifika person in that kind of space. So it's like the proof is in the pudding. It's just like, you're right. I don't know why people, what's the fear?
That's what I'm trying to figure out, because we are natural entertainers. When you say, oh, let's go do a dance, natural. Everybody's smiling and shaking their booties and, just dancing like the Cook Islands, But you say, jump in the ring and let's try out wrestling. Oh, no, I can't do that. It's too...
Man.
And I come across a lot of that.
Man.
But do you think when you put them under pressure?
Maybe.
Pressure? Because there's something about Pasifika men that you put them under the fire. Man, there's something that happens to them, which is beautiful to see. I don't know.
Yeah, because how do you deal with that anyway, Toks? If you get a lot of these guys who are Pasifika, they oh, no, I can't. What do you do to kind of like to boost the confidence or to get them to think otherwise?
Right now, the only way I could do it is just show what I've gone through, and some of the island boys that I have right now are going through the same thing. But for years, I've been trying. That's the whole reason why I brought the school here, was to open it up to the locals and the Polynesians to figure out some other pathway other than just rugby and boxing, and which nothing wrong with it. But there's a lot of people who can't play rugby and can't do boxing. But you know, when you give them the offer and say, "Hey, I can see you becoming a big superstar," oh no, okay.
Is it that?
Maybe too shy or.
Not the humble card again, is
It's
it?
probably the humble card. It's probably and I can't. That's the dilemma that I have is when we do cultural dances, everybody lets themselves go. But something as wrestling, I think there's a stigma to it. Whereas, oh no, it's too embarrassing.
Is it because you have to do it by yourself?
Maybe,
Hey,
yeah.
Go in the ring by yourself.
Yeah.
I mean,
I think that could be it. But boxing, you know,
Yeah,
you go in the ring by yourself when you're boxing.
It's true, lots of fighters.
Yeah, so that's something I'm still trying to figure out. Of course, there's a financial side to it as well. It's not cheap to learn a trade, any trade for that matter. To become a professional rugby player, that you spend a lot of money at clubs and traveling to games to even get noticed. It's the same thing as wrestling. But I don't know, the shyness or the pressure that comes with it probably is the reason. But I'm still working on trying to figure that out.
Good on you, Togo. But did you find it interesting? Obviously, you think about Rocky Maivia, before he became The Rock, and we all know because as Islanders, we know what he was doing. The gimmicks, not the gimmicks, but just the promos he was cutting, and all that stuff, and the thing, and just his acting. You all know, it's like, man, that's a Samoan thing. This like he's doing Pacifica. That's a Pacifica thing. We all, like you said, it's just the entertainment. We know that that's the Pacific side that's really coming out, and we used to laugh like, man, that's that Pacific side that's coming out, and so which tells us what Docs that we have our Pacifica who are contemplating. They have no excuse. They can actually do this.
Yes. You're right. They have no.
Hey, look, you're proof. The proof's in the pudding. Proof's in the pudding, Docs. You've been doing it for years now, and man, you're still doing it.
There's I think the only way to do it is to make it mainstream. Because right now it's not mainstream here in New Zealand, and I'm trying to do that. It's not easy, but I keep going and I keep doing it. Bringing shows here now is another way. I think just exposing it to everyone, seeing it with their own eyes would be a good way to do it. And we're working on trying to get shows at schools. Turning up, doing a show for the whole school would be another way to do it. And we're working on that right now. So.
Oh, that's exciting.
Yeah, good on you.
That's really exciting. Because one of the, because when you say talent, are you looking for somebody who's a performer? Are you looking at size? Are you looking at someone who's got a malleable body? Because I've got heaps of nephews. And I'm actually thinking about them because they're entertainers. They can dance. They're big boys. And it's something that I'm thinking, maybe I should try sell this to them and see if they buy into it because these are natural entertainers. And so, like, is that sort of what you're looking for?
Of course. Like I said, all of us islanders are entertainers, but it'll be interesting to hear what the answer is when you bring it up.
Yeah. I think we'd have to bring them to a show first so they can see it.
Yeah.
We got
Get into the whole experience.
Yeah, you should. What was I going to say? What am I looking for? Of course, size, looks.
What size?
Charisma. Yeah, you can be a wrestler at any size.
Oh, nice.
The charisma side of things is very important. You have to be able to entertain, and that's the charisma side. And that's the charisma side of things. Of course, and we go back to doing the dances, the polyphase. That's charisma. Getting out there and just being in front of people and being yourself and dancing and laughing, singing. That's charisma in itself. It's entertainment. But if you just come in there and just box or wrestle with no charisma, nobody's going to want to watch you.
Yeah. Because you have to wear red pants, red pants.
Oh, that's so cool because because Brosnan, is it Brosnan?
Oh yes.
Like I saw him on the he was on one of the interviews sometime last year. Such a nice dude, just quiet, so proper. And then they went and saw him in the weekend, and then my son and my brother-in-law were like, "Is that the same guy on the podcast?" What was his move? What was his move?
Oh man, he had several moves, but I think it was funny because Bronson, he comes out and he does. What does he do? He does that. He goes and he just gives it to the audience. And you were so funny, Toks, because he is a lawyer. He's a lawyer by day, and he was in the ring. Goes, I'm a lawyer. And my brother-in-law was like, did he just say he's a lawyer? He's a lawyer. He's an actual lawyer. And so, but you're right. We've had him before, obviously with Brad and Jamin and Charles. And man, he's just the sweetest guy. He's a nice guy, real nice dude. And then he's wrestling in the evenings and doing this persona. I was like, oh my gosh. And so, I think it could be anyone, It could be anyone, but you got to have charisma.
Yeah. You hit the nail on the head there. Bronson's charisma is out of it. Like, he's got it. He's got the charisma. As a wrestler, he's still training. I think he will become a good wrestler with due time. But when I first saw him come out and wrestle, that charisma was straight away. I said to my guys, "Oh, you guys need to be more like Bronson, because he just comes out there all natural and that's charisma. If I'm looking for somebody who comes out there with confidence and just enjoy what's happening and have fun, that's one of the things you can't teach. It takes sometimes a lot of the wrestlers that I work with took years to find out what type of wrestler they are, and it really was just finding that confidence to be who they really are. We had one wrestler last week. Cut that one.
No, I mean, just say it wasn't.
Okay, yeah. So we had one wrestler come out. Yes. Okay. Yeah.
Is it the cover? Just kidding.
Yeah, so we had one wrestler come out last weekend, and for a couple of years, we were trying to figure out what kind of wrestler he wants to be. But this last week, we've allowed him to, hey, whatever you got in your head, just be that person. And he came out as Us Leroy. And it's a big Samoan. He's an actual kickboxing champion somewhere, but he comes out with the karate gear, the headband, and he just enjoyed himself, had so much fun that the crowd just started cheering for him. And that's what it is. It's just finding and enjoying what you're doing. And it was, I'm laughing because I was so surprised at
was that a new character?
The first time he came out that way.
Do you know how many times that name was mentioned in the weekend? And on Sunday, that name was mentioned over and over, and the imitation of his moves.
Who's Leroy? I was like, who's this guy coming over? Oh man, I couldn't stop laughing.
That was the purpose, to come out there and make people laugh and entertain everyone. Man, I loved it.
Was that the guy who took off his top?
Yeah, you were so funny, Toks. I can't tell you because he came in with his karate outfit and all that, and obviously the band is and just even the name Us Leroy is like, oh my gosh. He rocks up anyway, and after that the kids were like, yeah, they're going crazy, yeah. And he's going, what's he doing? Us. And he's like, oh man, this guy's a man. And when the moment he took off his shirt, then the kids were like, boo. What the heck? I was like, hey, kids, you kids. Oh, but no, he was entertaining. He was entertaining, man. Oh my gosh, I didn't realize it was his first time.
Honestly, these guys raved on about it. It sounds like awesome.
Yeah, you got to come to the next
I will. I'm going to bring my nephews with me.
Yeah, come on.
Because they're 22, 22, 21, and they got some skills.
Bro, I'm just thinking of
Tatili. He's the man.
He's got charisma. Oh man. Oh. Anyway, sorry. Oh, but nah, man, that was so interesting. It's funny, man. But even more, obviously, we'll be touching on the wrestling. But what do you think the future holds for professional wrestling? Obviously worldwide, but more so in New Zealand. What do you see in terms of promotions or evolving and the work that you're doing? What do you see in terms of the future?
The ultimate goal, and I've had this for over 7-8 years, is doing tours in the Pacific Islands. Wrestling has never been to any of the islands before, so my goal is to bring it to Tonga, Samoa and Fiji in the near future, hopefully next year. But at the same time, growing local talent. If I can find wrestlers from all those countries and base them here in New Zealand, then I can take them on tours around Australia, New Zealand and the Pacific Islands. So every month or every couple of months, we could do a tour in Australia. The next month I can take those same guys all over New Zealand, and then the next month is island hop around. So that's the ultimate goal. And back in the day, wrestling was huge in Australia and New Zealand, and it was regarded as one of the biggest territories back then. So my goal is to get it back to that level. Awesome. And instead of growing these guys and then sending them overseas, I want to grow them and then have them stay here, because it is tough leaving your country, leaving your family. Why not create something with an infrastructure that gives jobs to the local talent and have them just tour and entertain around the region.
Wow.
So that's the main goal.
That's awesome, Toko. That's awesome, Toko. Because I remember last time you were saying the goal was like to take them out and just go out there and get these contracts. But now you just kind of changed in terms of, let's start something here. Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Because I remember, oh man, I know I'm showing my age, but in terms of on the mat, remember on the mat?
Yes.
These are back in New Zealand, that would have been
70s,
80s, and so you had all the stars. You had obviously Peter Maivia, you had Siva Afi, King Haku, King Haku's even he's legendary. So you had all these guys who were doing some cool stuff in New Zealand. So you kind of is it something similar?
Yes. We want to get everyone to that same level of stardom, because right now we have to bring talent from overseas to be able to sell a venue. We want to get to a stage where our local guys are big enough stars to sell these shows and make money for their families. Whereas before I would recommend them to other companies overseas, and that's where they would go and get contracts and make money. But the ultimate goal is do it right here. Why not? And I think we're on the right path, and it's slowly getting there. But it's got its challenges, but we will get there.
Yeah. Oh, that's exciting. We were in Samoa earlier this year, and one of the I don't know if I should say this online, but I'm gonna say it.
Drink some more Kava.
Because this might be a great idea, but I felt like their fair nights were a little bit worn out, and the passion wasn't there. So people were paying like 100 tala to go to their fair night. And they were like, I was just like, I remember 25 years ago when we used to go to the fair night, they were neck level. They were amazing. Like you'd sit there and go, whoa. Yeah. But this time it's like they just quickly put clothes on the staff and they just came out and did something. It was real loose and unorganized. And then I asked the same thing about one of the other hotels, and they were like, oh, yeah, similar thing. I'm like, that's not how we roll. As Pasifika people were very prideful in our cultural practices. And I just wonder if they might need some wrestlers to come in and just rejuvenate that, because
something different.
I was not impressed. And I know, and I say this because we know what level of, what the standard is. So I'm not just saying this just for the sake of being an egg. I'm saying this because I know what our standards are. And I was just like, really? This is tourist season. You need to be bringing your best out here. Everyone's paying 100 tala per person, not for the food, but they're here to see culture. Yeah. We didn't see nothing. We walked out. I was so angry.
Poor
don't blame you.
Jesus Parker was there as well.
Now you just highlighted which hotel it was.
Anyway, hey. But I'll just go back to the future of wrestling because just in case.
That one, cut that.
Cut that off.
But you saying that? Oh man, that's a big dream, but not unreachable. And we definitely have the right person who's starting this and pioneering this toko. And we are very proud, not because you're just one of the tokos and one of the brothers, but because you're doing some amazing things. And I'm not just saying that lightly, because you are, Toks. You're doing some amazing things, and the people you've kind of gathered together. These are not just people from New Zealand; these are people from all over the world. And you're a big star in your own right. Obviously in Japan, but also here in New Zealand. And so, toko, just amazing. And so, in terms of the future, I know there's something special that is happening on November the 15th.
Yes.
Yeah, tell us, Toko, what's happening there?
On November 15th is our big New Japan Tamashii show. And on the show, we have a lot of the locals. New Japan Tamashii is our international brand, so a lot of the fans all over the world are going to watch this show when it's out. But we have pretty much 90% of them are local wrestlers, so we're trying to give them a platform to showcase their talents, and it would be great if our local people came along and supported.
Yeah.
And it will be at the Mangere Arts Centre, Mangere Town Centre, at the Mangere Arts Centre, and at the Town Centre, and November 15th. So we would appreciate it if you have time, come along, get entertained, have a laugh, and support our local wrestlers.
That's awesome.
Thank you for letting us come down here and talk about it a little bit. And we'll see you guys there too.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, toko, man. But yeah, no, it is. I think it's, and the work you've done, because it needs to be, I guess, blowing up, and people need to see the hard work behind the wrestling. And I think there was an era, Toks, where I think in the 90s, early 2000s, where wrestling was just. And I think you're bringing it back. You're going to bring it back. Yeah, I think you're bringing it back. Yeah, you're bringing it back, and it's just rejuvenating it. But in terms of legacy, legacy and impact, obviously you've impacted a lot of our people here in terms of wrestling, and some people who've kind of you've gathered along the journey. What's your impact in terms of the community, wrestling, your kainga, your family, and so what do you want to leave behind in terms of legacy?
In terms of legacy, man, I haven't really thought about that. But what I do is to find fulfillment. I want to help as many people as I can.
Yeah.
Getting to where I've been in my career has taught me that material things is nothing. The material things that we go after mean nothing to us. But the feelings that you encounter on the way is what, to me, is what fulfills me, and the connections. So, legacy-wise, I'd say if I were ever to be gone one day, that a lot of people would remember the hand or the help that I've come across. They've come across through working with me and listening and learning from what I've done online. So legacy-wise, I'm not fussed about leaving a legacy. I just hope one day somebody would remember, oh, he helped me do this. That's it.
Yeah.
Cool. It's very cool. Nice.
Wow.
Appreciate that, and I'm sure you will leave that legacy. But I really want to echo your event. mainly from the perspective that I regret not going on Saturday. I really do, because the way these guys came back home was outrageous. You know, if you've ever watched WWF, if you grew up in that era, and you want something that gives you that reminder, that experience, that feeling, that nostalgia, this did it, because my husband came back like a kid. I mean, in a respectful way. He came back. He came back in. My son, who's 14, he came in like totally excited, and I've never seen him as excited. And then my brother-in-law that went there that night. Now he's a stoic man. Like, he's a tough dude. He's not one of those guys to just like go to a concert and just wave us. He's not that dude. You know, he's like from Samoa. Like, this is him. But my son was like, Mum, you should have seen Uncle. Uncle was just like in it. He was yelling, he was clapping. And my son was like, I've never seen him like that before. So the fact that your event can do that to a man who is stoic and I think that event did something for him. And so it brought him a bit of reminder of amazing times in his life. It brought out that childlike side that I think we all want to bring out now and then. But it lifted him up. And so I just want to acknowledge what your event did for my family that Saturday. And the next one I'm definitely coming to. And I'm going to bring my nephews and my sister-in-laws and anyone else I can grab, because I want to have that experience too.
Bro, it was absolutely, man. I was so entertained. The wrestling was great. Just the characters, what you do, man. It was a great event. And so for those who have not even heard of the dojo or your dojo or your events, they need to be there, because it's just an amazing family event as well.
Yes.
And so what a great time to spend with your family and be entertained, laugh, and just relive some of those memories growing up. It is really nostalgic, but man, what an amazing event! And just like obviously, Amanda, we like to speak life into, or speak it into existence. Man, I can't wait till it just blows up into even bigger and better things than toko. So, mahalo lava toko.
Thank you very much.
No, awesome. And Brad's a big fan too. He takes all his boys there.
Brad's a massive fan.
Come on.
Brad's a massive fan. He's got 8 boys there, so you never know. Man, it might be.
Yes.
Yeah, man.
That's awesome.
But, yeah, Togo, but thank you so much. Thank you so much for tonight. But we do have, I don't know, if there's anything, any last words you want to share, Togo?
Yes. You mentioned that I've done a lot of things, some great, some not so great. But I credit that to, you may have heard of a great sumo wrestler named Konishiki. And he is a Samoan from Hawaii that became a major star in Japan. And I remember meeting him for the first time. And he had already retired, but he was all over Japan, on TV, everything. And he knew of me as a wrestler, but the first thing he said to me was, he said, Toks, you got to keep moving. Because if you sit down and have a rest, someone's going to take your place. And that really resonated with me. And that's why you see me doing a lot of different things. Because if I stop doing something, if I'm working on a project and there's time in between, or I have to wait a month or whatever, I'm not going to wait. I'm going to do something different. And in doing that, a lot of people see that, and it helps them hopefully get motivated. So don't sit still. Mm-hmm. If you have free time, don't waste it. Keep moving. Thank you.
Malo, pito. Hard out. And it's interesting you say that the guest previous said the same thing. Don't stop moving. Keep moving. Keep going. And that's what you're doing, Antoko. We do have a gift for you, but I'm not too sure if I should give you this gift. I don't know if I should give you this gift now. Like,
I haven't given up.
I got some whiskey for you. Some whiskey for you, Togo. Yeah. And so I got the Maker's Mark
Give
whiskey.
it to him.
The thing is, I still have a drink here and there, but I'm not craving it like I used to. So I do appreciate that.
Nah, man.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. On behalf of the team,
Only-
we thought some
Only this time it'll take longer to finish.
Oh man.
Oh, but no, we appreciate your time, Togo. Oh, man, it is. It's just a pleasure, and just who you are. You're obviously very humble, very relatable, and I mean in the most positive, in the best way. Not the false,
Not the online one.
not the online one, not the false humility, because we know you you're stoic, you're a man's man, but your humility it shines through, and that's probably why a lot of people love being around you and choose to come and work with your dojo. But also a man of integrity, a man who's very passionate, a man of creativity, and look, you're leading the way in terms of the wrestling game here in Aotearoa, New Zealand. So all the best with your endeavours. Once again, look forward to having you on again. And this time around might be kind of different. Might be at the dojo this time around.
Well, why not?
Yeah. And so just to see the progress.
Teach them some moves.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well,
Maybe undercover.
you can teach Brad and I some
I see them in
moves.
the ring.
You can be Oos. Oos Leroy's partner.
Okay. But we do thank you, Togo. But whether would you say different, Togo? Because I want to hear from Toks Fale. If you look at the camera, promote obviously the episode, but also the events, the Toks Fale kind of style.
Okay. November 15th, I want you to come out there and support our people, because if you don't, forget about it.
Oh man, Togo, man.
Man, I'm
Thank you,
scared.
Togo.
I'm coming.
But please don't forget to subscribe, and we look forward to your thought comments, and say thank you very much. Refine, unlock,
Take
charge.
charge.
Reinventing.
And I agree that I need to redeem myself to be